Alright now everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's time for another Firewood News update. So we've had some pretty serious breaking news on the Trump administration opening up logging in the national parks. Now if you subscribe to the channel and you followed the previous Firewood News updates, we already talked about this back in May. This logging was supposed to be limited to diseased, dead and dying trees, insect-infested trees, dangerous trees, and trees that were deemed to be dangerous due to their close proximity to roads. Now we are seeing this month that the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which is the parent agency of the U.S. Forest Service, they have recently announced that they are trying to rescind the roadless rule. And that's what I was concerned about when I said, well, anything that's deemed dangerous because it's close to a road, well, if they're going to log the forest, then they can just they make roads everywhere and then say everything's dangerous and it's close to the roads and just log all along the roads, because that's how you log forest. You got to make logging roads, right? So they make logging roads and then say everything's dangerous because it's close to the road and log it. And I was like, well, I hope that doesn't go on and they do this responsibly, because responsible logging, the forest can recover within 10 to 20 years. You do it in small areas. So as long as they do it responsibly, it can clean the forest floor, eliminate forest fire risks, and also provide a little bit of economic incentive there, an economic boom for our country for land that's just sitting vacant and could potentially be set ablaze at any point in time, as you'll see later in the news update. Several campfire incidents. But this is a big area of contention here, obviously, and it will affect as much as 45 million acres of federal land, and a big part of it is in Alaska, and there's other states all over. This was enacted in 2001 at the end of the Clinton administration, and it has limited the number of development projects on Forest Service lands. So, of course, there's different people that are in favor of and strictly against this. Some people that are people of the forest in Alaska and everything that live off the land, they don't want this stuff. Other people are saying that a lot of their constituents and supporters are saying that it's hindering them in their economic progress for their small towns and things, and it's also causing forest fire risks. And there's a lot of wood that is going unused, particularly in Utah. We're seeing a state rep there, U.S. Rep Celeste Malloy, said that she hears all the time that people are upset about these restrictions. So obviously this is a serious issue. I just don't want to see them rescind the roadless rule and then open it up to logging companies and contractors that get in there and just start running rampant, and hopefully it's under control and everything, and it's done responsibly. So I'm not going to get too much more into that. You see what's going on there. And I want to mention that there is a public comment period, but it's a brief comment period. It closes September 19th. And there's also people that are saying the time frame is extremely inadequate, that they're only giving us 2 or 3 weeks to have public comments. So if you want to go and leave public comments and leave your opinion on this, you only have till September 19th. I'll try to get this Firewood News update up there so you people can have the opportunity to do that if you want to. So go read about it, find out what's going on, but I think you get the gist of that. Now, moving on, we had some LED fireplaces that were imported from China, and they are being recalled due to the mandatory federal standards for consumer products containing button or coin cell batteries. So there has been no incidents reported, and there was about 1,250 of these LED fireplaces sold, but apparently they contain button cell batteries and they can be ingested, and they're a choking hazard for kids, childs, infants. So that is going on. If you got a button cell battery LED fireplace, you might want to check that out, or make sure that your infants are aware not to eat the batteries. That was imported by Green Pastures Wholesale of Baltimore, Maryland, and that was obviously manufactured in China. So moving right along, there has been a Russian super yacht that was confiscated by the U.S. government. Now, this guy was involved in money laundering, and he was closely connected to President Vladimir Putin. in different ways with this money, they're saying, and it was obtained through nefarious circumstances. But this super yacht is apparently highly equipped, very desirable, and it has a marble fireplace in the salon area. So I'm not sure if it's wood burning or not. I didn't see that in the article, but it does have a fireplace, and it's like a $350 million yacht. But they're doing an auction, a closed bid auction. But in order to bid on this yacht, you have to give a $10 million deposit, and then they do a closed bid, and the highest bidder will win this thing. So if you want a yacht with a fireplace and you have at least $10 million laying around, you can throw into this thing for a deposit until they declare the winner. I would look into that and get going on that. It was built and designed in 2017. It's a 348-foot yacht. It's really nice. I think you'd like that a lot. Alrighty, so next, kind of related to that part of the world, there has been some illegal logging in the Chernobyl nuclear zone, and it's caused some environmental damage. Apparently there was a contractor that was supposed to be clearing trees around power lines, but he arranged for over 1,000 trees, about 1,023 trees, to be cut down outside of the terms of his agreement to do his work. So that was in the Chernobyl nuclear zone, and that is against the Criminal Code of Ukraine. It's in the Chernobyl Radiation and Ecological Biosphere Reserve is where that was. So that did 77 million UAH, Ukrainian dollars, whatever those are. They're saying it did quite a bit of damage to that, so he has been cited for that. And they have charged this guy, the director of a limited liability company, with illegally felling more than 1,000 trees. Next, there's a company called Outdoor Boiler, and they make products for outdoor wood boilers and things, and they have introduced a new water treatment that's a liquid armor water treatment that's supposed to prolong the life of your boiler, preserve the internal components of all that, all the metals and everything, from corrosion. But in this article, we're also seeing, if you have ever wondered why wood has been considered carbon neutral and how that all happens and how that could be possible. It's recognized by the U.S. federal government to reduce greenhouse gases for a couple different reasons now, and it's supposed to be carbon neutral because when a tree grows, it absorbs carbon, and when it's burned, it only releases the same amount of carbon. And that is in contrast to fossil fuels. There's no equal means for reabsorption. It's a little different deal there with the fossil fuels, if that makes sense. And then also, when a tree rots on the forest floor, it also produces methane. When you burn it, that methane is not produced, and it's estimated that each year enough wood rots in the U.S. forest to heat America for 100 years. So yeah, so every year enough wood rots in U.S. forests to heat America as a whole for 100 years, just going to waste, and it's producing methane. Wood also, it stores solar energy that's during the warm season, during the summer and everything, and then it releases that energy back into the environment when it's cold in the winter. So that's kind of where that carbon neutral stuff comes from. Just wanted to touch on that real quick. Coming along next, I just wanted to mention there has been a rash of campfires that have been out of control this year, and I'm sure there always is. That's why there's burn bans everywhere. But we see in Duluth, a 27-year-old resident was charged with starting a massive wildfire earlier this year in May. It destroyed 150 structures. It was the Camp House fire. Have you ever heard about that? He had left his campfire unattended. It caused all kinds of damage, burned structures, and it eventually scorched more than 12,000 acres up in Minnesota. We also saw the La Plata fire here on La Plata Peak. Back in August, on August 26th, they had determined that a campfire likely sparked that fire, and that is in Colorado. Another fire, the Root Fire. As of this news update, it's half contained, but it was also caused by a campfire left unattended. As a result of that, there has been a burn ban implemented in the area. That was going on in Shasta County. We also had the same thing happen in Manchester, New Hampshire, where a campfire was left unattended and flames reached over 6 feet high, but firefighters were able to contain that blaze to a small area. And it's expected to be monitored for further developments and make sure that fire doesn't get flared up again, get sparked up there now. Once again, that's been the Firewood News Update for this month. Stay tuned for future Firewood updates. I'm sure they'll be coming as the news rolls in. Have a good one.